welcome back. We are back here. This is the same time. We have now finally caught up to the time. I just checked the watch. It is about 3 o'clock exactly now. Although this is now technically no longer a Morning New-Tine range, as I mentioned before, some of those vlogs we're now back in, so that's pretty good. So there was that. All that stuff that kind of led into what was going to happen now. And all that fun. Anyways, we're going to go on to the next segment now, and this is something that I normally call the Morning New-Tine, the Pun Emporium. Now, obviously, it's a name, well, it isn't my own name, actually. It's based off, and it's influenced. Actually, the name is exactly of a good friend of mine who is a huge enthusiast of puns and one-liners and just nonsense of that kind. Nonsense in a good way, obviously, because it's pretty funny. Some of them are cringy, but it's always a good time every time. So every week what happens, for those of you who don't normally tune into the Morning New-Tine on Tuesday mornings, is that I have a segment that comes on that I'd be reading out a list, and I normally have documents that I print up, actually that I type up on a manual. I have a manual typewriter from the 70s, late 70s. I think it was from 1977. Yeah, something like that. And I type all my preparatory documents and all the things I want to say on there. And I would have had a document typed up for this week, but obviously my typewriter isn't with me currently. It is quite something to carry around, especially if you're commuting with that thing. But secondly, also because I'm here, then I didn't know if I was going to do an outline or something, and it only dawned on me that maybe I should do an episode on Tuesday, that time when I started compiling vlogs together to get some kind of content out for you today. So what I decided to do, actually, funny enough, my friend who usually sends me these puns in for every week of the show, actually sent me in a batch of 3, and he didn't realize that I wasn't going to do an episode for this Tuesday. So then I just sort of told him and said, hey, I actually don't have an episode for Tuesday, and this is another reason why I said I better go ahead and make some kind of an episode. And so here we are now. I have them actually now on my phone, so don't mind me staring down at something. If you want me to go ahead and provide some expression, I could do that. Something like if I wanted to go ahead and make it all nasally or something. I'm not about to do that, though. Just for the sake of reading a few puns. Maybe they're quirky enough as it is. But anyways, here we are. We have only 3. They're all jokes, actually. They're more like question-answer type jokes. So get ready for cringe, for humor, for whatever, for boredom, whatever you would like to make out of this. You can skip, you can carry forward, you can listen in, you can play back anything you'd like. It's entirely up to you. But anyways, as customary to the Morning New-Tine as it usually is, here is the Pun Emporium. Here we go. The first one goes along like this. What did the watermelon say to the cantaloupe? It said, "You're one in a melon." The second one is, what job did the frog have at the hotel? A bellhop. That's a good one. And finally, what do you call a classy fish? Sophisticated. Almost sounds like I'm about to start SHing my, now in the sense of making sounds of my S's. So every S I'd be using would end up shouting something like that. Something. Man, if I were to do the rest of this podcast like that, or this video, it's not really a podcast anymore. Maybe it's a video podcast. It's more like a broadcast now, a pre-recorded broadcast for that matter. So we have that. Anyways, that there was the Emporium for you, and you're wondering why my phone may have randomly disappeared. It didn't. I just put it down, and I must have probably did some disastrous editing or something somewhere in the middle. But anyway, the next thing I wanted to go ahead and get at is just a chat, just a general conversation maybe, because normally what I do in the beginning, and I should have done this at the beginning, is usually ask how your Tuesday has been so far, or not just Tuesday, your week, because we're more than just Tuesday now. This Thursday, so you have the week plus 2 days, excuse me. Yeah, the week plus 2 extra days, because today is now Thursday. How's that been? Hopefully you've been having a pretty good week, and I'm still getting pretty tongue-tied up at this point. But anyways, I had a pretty busy week myself as well. Maybe, I feel like I should have started with this, but, well, I guess it's now in the middle. We always have some interesting little bits and pieces. So, yeah, there's that. I didn't actually have a lot. No, I did. There were a couple of midterms for university, so that was quite fun. In the sense of, studying, cramming, stressing over, and then de-stressing over. So it was pretty good, and a bunch of things happened. And now here I am. I'm off for the week, so it's a nice, easy way to relax, and all that until I come back again the week following. So there's that. But yeah, otherwise it's been pretty good. Nothing all too much for me. Hopefully yours, once again, has been pretty good. Or at least you've been able to get through what you wanted to get through, to do what you've been able to do, to stress over things and de-stress like what I did. If you've got more this week, well, good luck. Although this may be delayed by the time I send it out, but still, hopefully, I mean, by the time it started it, just pretend I said good luck to you if you want, or something like that. But yeah, or whatever's going to be coming up until the next time I see you guys from the studio. When I go in on Tuesday and actually get on the air once again and do all that business. So don't worry about that, and it's totally fine. Anyways, what else is coming up in this particular segment, or this particular episode, is that because I don't have much music, I mostly will have played just a few cues in between some of the video segments or something, is mostly going to be now a series of little clips from something I actually did a while back. And this is an interesting segment. This is more specific now to the CFMU environment, but also to the non, because there is a sort of thing I wanted to grab out of it. And the CFMU side is the actual interview with the group that I actually did, so for the station. But there's also a personal aspect to it for me in the sense of this is actually one of my first interviews in terms of the not so good ones. I mean, it may have sounded all right on the air after massive amounts of cutting out things that I didn't need, but I said, you know what, I'd gathered the original file, and I decided I'd go on ahead and listen to all the parts that I did not put on the air. And there is a fair amount, because when I had cut it, the final version of the episode, or the interview rather, came out to about, I think it was 11 or 12 minutes, if you ever heard it on the air from anybody coming CFMU side. But the actual original recording went for about 26. There's something in the 20s. So I actually cut out a solid 10 minutes of me just kind of not having it. Now, when I say not having it, I sort of refer to more so I just was out of element. Not that I was mad or anything, but basically, you know, when you've just come from running from a place and you come an hour late to the interview. Thankfully, it was a telephone interview, but still, I came to that interview an hour late. So then I was basically just panting, stressed out. I was pretty much out of it in that particular sense. I even still had to set up the equipment in the room, and that took me an extra 5-10 minutes. The phones weren't working because I'd forgotten to press a simple functional button. Shout out to the department, to the music department, for that and fixing that, because all it took was one button to fix everything. So I did that. That all worked out, but then I was still really shaky by the time I made the phone call. And as much as I may have tried to tried to make myself sound smooth, and you know, I was all right. I didn't have much of a problem, really. It really showed, because as I settled in and began to do the interview and start going, okay, tell me a little bit about yourself, I could already hear and sense that I was not going to be in a good, not so much of a mood, but more so just not in a good state, because I was still trying to de-stress from having run all the way from something that I had scheduled accidentally, or something that had occurred accidentally. Okay, maybe I'll go ahead and just tell you the entire story, because what happened was, this was on the 14th of February, Valentine's Day. And this year, for those of you who may be aware of it, Valentine's Day so happens to be on Ash Wednesday. So that was the day. That was the day when everybody would go and attend a church service, and receive the ashes on their forehead. And it so happened that I had actually scheduled this interview on that day. And for some reason, it never occurred to me that I had something on that day. And every time I'd been planning out and scheduling things, I sort of thought, okay, well, I don't think I have anything on this day. I don't have classes at this time. Like there were some days I knew I could not do the interview at all because I was out elsewhere. And it so happened that I found a time slot. I think it was about 10:30, or no, 12:30, something like between either 10:30 or, I think it was 12:30. 12:30 was the time. At 12:30 I said, okay, sure, I'm going to go ahead to the interview and conduct this interview and do it. Little did I realize that I also had to go, well, I mean, I knew I had to attend an Ash Wednesday service, but little did I realize the times. That evening I would have had a midterm as well, so I couldn't do the evening service. There was a morning service, but I didn't quite catch up to that one, so my only option was one that so happened, and I thought this was at 12. So I went over to the church and arrived there at 12 o'clock, people were already seated around, and I thought the mass was about. I actually even thought I was going to be late for the service because I got to the church at about 12:15, thinking that the service would start at 12, and lo and behold, the service began at 12:30, and there I was thinking, well, I can't really escape this now. I'm going to be late, very late for that. The service went for about 40 to 50 minutes, which is typical, and I wasn't about to complain about that. It was my fault, really, because I had decided to go ahead, and schedule an interview for during the time that I actually had a service. That's why I figured I had something. So, folks, make sure you write your things down, or if you have really good memory, make sure you remember, but still I'd recommend writing things down, putting memos, do whatever. You definitely don't want these to happen. And so, here's a little bit of an off-screenish version of me in these clips. I've pulled out everything that was interview related, and I sort of just took all the clips out that did not have anything to do with the interview. Mostly just, you'll hear, it'll be an interesting one. I know it might be really boring because it's just the sounds of me going off on, oh, sorry, I did so-and-so. But, if you ever want to hear it, it's always been on record. And I was full aware that this equipment was on record. So I just said, I can cut it out. But at the same time, I usually try not to cut out too much. But then I said, sure, I'll just have to cut this because I couldn't focus at all. I mean, I actually probably sounded partially shaky or wasn't responding much as I normally did with some of the other few interviews that I did. This is only my fourth one overall, so I mean, I could say that and say, well, it's just an early one, and I'll just improve later for a future interview. But at the same time, it's always learning experience, and I'd always make sure that every time I deliver an interview, I always deliver. And I do the best I possibly can to make them feel comfortable, to make myself feel comfortable, and to keep the audience entertained. Because there are so many things actually that now I realize go into conducting an interview as opposed to just being the guest on an interview for somebody else who's hosting it. So this is it. These are the clips of me. Here are some things of me. I think this is everything that happened. I guess you could kind of call it the B-side of the interview if you wanted to, but really it is just about that. So go ahead, and I'm going to put the clip on now. You can, or a series of clips if you'd like to. You can go ahead and have a listen. Enjoy. I definitely don't want to be messing up on any more of those deadlines and times because I've been terrible with these lately. So once again, I'm just in a complete mess right now. So please, so my apologies if I do sound like I'm sort of lost throughout this. Then that pretty much is. I've been frantically going up here and there.
Yeah.
Times have just been terrible. So
I've been there.
Terribly sorry for that. So yeah. Anyways, so I think we're pretty much ready to go. If you're all ready, then we can get this thing going.
Cool.
All right, so I'll try to do this if I can even get the introduction properly done. So, how would you pronounce your last name, by the way,
Anna? Mernieks.
Mernieks, right?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, that'd be pretty good. All right, we're going to try that. So, hopefully, as long as I don't mess up in general. I'm just making sure the levels are good, everything's good. Okay, let's give this a whirl. Here we go. So, today I'm here in the studio, or rather I'm on the phone right now with a member of the band BEAMS, and she's a fellow by the name of... Okay, gee, this happens
you can call
so
me a
very
fellow.
often. A fellow by the name of Anna, because I just lose my train of thought so easily, then this happens. So let me try this again. Here we go.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
No worries.
Do you sort of have a general message that you want for whenever, or it kind of varies upon the song, pretty much?
Yeah, there are a few. Let's see. Mostly I sing about wanting to respect our world, wanting to respect each other, getting through tough times by, taking care of yourself and working together. Things like that.
Okay. Yeah.
I think. Common themes.
But yeah, no, definitely, and just being able to do that in a unique way, because how many 7-piece bands out there have folk instruments and do exactly what you do. It's remarkable what you guys do pretty much so far, and listening and all that. And now maybe Okay, sorry. I'm sort of, you can still kind of tell that I'm kind of out of this right now.
No worries.
My apologies. Yeah, no, I didn't want to. I feel like I'm out of the moment right now.
Okay.
So my apologies if I'm coming off, because like there are some things I'm just running off of. So don't worry, this is not going to come onto the actual final cut of the interview, but let me try and think of what I wanted to get to next. Like I have an actual flow of things I wanted to go ahead, but still, even with this flow, I still can't seem to go ahead and piece things together, ask the right things, do whatever. My apologies for that. Anyway, maybe here, let's try and get back into it. Yeah.
Music brought us together for sure.
Yeah, very variety. So and that's just really cool. I just lost what I was gonna go and think at right now. But I know you're a bit pressed. But gee, my goodness. Oh man, I'm.
What else did you want to get through?
You can already imagine how extremely out of place I am right now. Oh my goodness. Oh geez. And you definitely would want to catch them next week here in Hamilton at the St. Hollywood, as Anna mentioned. They'll be playing there. They'll be playing probably. It's almost like a release show, like a preview show, almost to some of the new stuff you'll be releasing on the 23rd, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. And I just, gee, that. I was gonna go and get into something else, but I don't quite remember. Now this is gonna be so awkward to end because I'm pretty bad in segment transition now. This is gonna suck really badly.
Was it about the lyrics or the hobbies or anything?
I'm just trying to think of how I can bridge it together, because I know that would be the last thing I would have gone, and from there, if I had something nice to go right into it, I would have said thank you so much. But then now I sort of just abruptly stopped myself in the middle because, oh man, this is still a learning process for me too.
Everyone's human. I'm
Yeah.
sure the student base, the listener base of the radio will be able to appreciate that.
No, trust me though. I think the biggest thing for me, it's just I've just been really out of it today, and also because I'm still relatively new to the whole environment of interviewing. I'd only done about a few more just before you had, and I'd actually just started this here, and so it's still, every time I step into the studio, it gets so nerve-wracking every time. Even for me too, it's like, how am I going to do this? And this is, for example, one of those times where I'm thinking, "Ooh, I'm out of things," and I had things prepared, but all of a sudden they all just disappeared.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, but now I'm trying to think of how I can bridge this together for you, and I don't want to keep you any longer because I know you do have to depart sometime soon. Well, how can I possibly do this? Well, okay, we were on hobbies and interests. And then I quickly moved into that. Maybe I'll just cut all this out and quickly just go right into saying, well, thank you so much or something. I don't know. We could do that, and I'll just probably do a quick little clip of that just to get this.
Sure. Yeah,
just to be
whatever
able to
works
do
best.
that. We'll just try and pretend that maybe I just came out of talking about what's coming up for you guys. Maybe I'll actually rerun that right now. I'll just rerun it. So let's see what happens here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much, and hopefully we'll see people at the show.
All right. Yeah, I hope to see you there if you're able to.
Hopefully around. Okay.
Okay.
That did it. Now I sort of have to figure out how this is all going to turn out. So, see,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry if this had to be, if this being super awkward. I just came in already. I wasn't right in place, and I was just all over.
Totally.
Yeah, no, you could probably tell and hear because I had just been completely lost, and I'm just really sorry about that.
Well, I'm sure it won't take too long until you're like more settled in there. I know it takes me a couple months usually to get used to a new position, a new job, anything like that.
Definitely, yeah, and also just the setup of today too. I mean, if I had just remembered and made sure that I actually had that service at about 12:30, I would have actually been able to keep my mind clear and have a proper time when I'd be able to, and a time when I actually would have been available to go ahead and start this, as opposed to keeping you.
Having time sneak up on you like that never is good.
Yeah, and then having to keep you waiting for almost an hour. I'm so sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay. I just kind of like shifted my stuff around and did some things before that I was going to do after, so it's all good.
But yeah, Man, geez. I'm still. I think I'm just trying to take it. You can still tell because like if you were to see me right now, I'm probably still shaky and I can't think straight and things because I was just up this morning, just got up pretty late at some point and was pushing it actually towards the time of the service, and I was just rushing out and about ever since.
Oh yeah, that's
And
never good.
yeah, so I think my mind's just been racing. I've been racing generally. Um,
Well,
I
might be
haven't
good to
quite
just
been
take a
thinking
moment to
straight.
arrive in the space there and just kind of let that be like, okay, this
I think,
morning
yeah.
kind of sucked, but
That's the
that's
best I could. Yeah, I
done
think
now.
just to
You're there now.
yeah, getting to it. Although still, it will probably take a bit of time, and then I even still have things like, gee, goodness, later on I've even got like a midterm of things to prepare for too. So it's gonna be quite a day.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, thanks again for putting up with my general out of elementness. You know.
Hey, we all have that
I
sometimes.
am, yeah, but yeah, I mean, I really wish it would have been something a bit of something where I would have at least been able to do a little bit better in this case. But I at least still I thank you for sticking around and
Yeah,
being
well, if
able
you
to
ever
do
want to
this.
chat again, we can always, if there's something else to chat about, some other release, then we can always chat again.
Yeah, we could do that, or even whenever. Yeah, whenever. If there's anything you'd like to go ahead and announce, or anything you want to sort of put out there, then I can always go ahead and couple up with an interview for that. And yeah,
Okay, I'll
definitely,
keep it in mind.
I'll keep that in mind too. And yeah, hopefully by then I'll at least be in a much better state than I am now.
Yeah, I hear you.
a lot more, a lot more prepared, a lot more actually present where I am. I see. I can't even think of the word that I wanted to go and use just to describe how horrible I am right now. So
Okay, well, I gotta go walk the dog, and I'm sure you have a lot that you have to do. So good luck
yeah,
on your midterm.
thank you, and yeah, basically just me trying to get through the day. Hopefully, I'll be able to ease up a tad bit, and yeah. But thanks a lot so much, Anna. Sorry so that once again for the hours delay and even the delay in setting up, and at least I know what to do next time.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, take care.
All right, take care. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Okay, bye bye. And so there you go, as you now could probably figure out how terrible. I mean, on my end, for me, I was panicking all over. Outside, I was trying to keep my cool, but as much as I've been trying, I was actually frantically rushing here and there all over the place. I couldn't think straight. I was just way out of it. So, and internally, all the more, I was just going boom, 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 boom. This is gonna be bad. Like my heart was racing. I think. I don't know if it really was, but still, I sort of felt that sensation. So definitely don't do that. Make sure you are, if you are doing any kind of an interview of any kind, any sort, just this is sort of the afterword, if you want to call it. Basically, make sure that you are relaxed when you go into the studio or whatever before you go ahead and take on any kind of an interview. Make sure you're relaxed. Don't make yourself stressed out. Make sure you're not panting. You're not rushing back from a class or from whatever, a meeting. Make sure that you allot enough time. Make sure you schedule it properly too. So there's that, and you know, keeping and because keeping your cool, especially when you are not in the greatest of state, is very hard to do. I think you'd have to provide a full on not really a mood swing, but sort of a state swing, kind of some crazy thing from I'm panting and stressed out and tired and need a rest to okay, I'm at it. I am an element. I'll be pretty good to go. No, it's hard. I mean, it's possible, but for my case at least, it's not really something that would work for me. So definitely make sure you do provide enough time. It's always something. I know this is only my fourth interview, but I'm kind of learning in the process too. It's like the morning routine. Every time I go into the studio, I pretty much just play whatever I feel like playing in the database. There was no premeditated or no. Well, I don't plan ahead in terms of what songs I'll play unless somebody sends in requests. Which, of course, before I continue, you're more than welcome to do. If you have anything you would like to go ahead and have played on the Morning New-Tine, just go ahead and shoot me an email or something on social media. You're more than welcome to, or you can send it through a music department if you want it to chart in our local chart list. But anyways, with that. Quick little plug, that was completely random. But anyways, I was getting at, well, I mean, yeah, every time I play music, it's pretty much just random. And I listen along with the listeners, So in that sense, it's like, here, I'm kind of learning along with as I do interviews and that kind of stuff, So a weird analogy, but sort of, I guess the idea is there because I'm just kind of doing things right off the spur of the moment. In this case, I guess it's fine. Although, of course, planning and making sure you get to the interview on time, not an hour late, is very important, especially if you are the guest. So thank goodness I was not the guest and I was actually the interviewer. If it was the guest, I would be a pretty big problem. But anyways, I don't want to rant on with that. That pretty much, I think, wraps up in terms of segments that I wanted to get through. So otherwise, this would end up being a completely random vlog type rant, or something. I've seen videos of this before from various kinds, people just having a seat, a general conversation. If I wanted to put some ambience around in this room, I could, dim the blinds out, probably put some candlelight or some nice lights up in the back or something. Like my house in my place in over back by the university, we have this cute little in the living room. There's just lights kind of just going up around. That's like the Christmas lights too. It's really cool. But anyway, I think that does wrap around on segments. If there are any things though that you would like to see me do, like to see me try to do my own version of or something, anything you'd like me to, just if there's any suggestions or anything you'd like to go ahead. Feel free to drop me a line below or through any of my forms of contact, social media, you name it. I'm always open because just like the Morning New-Tine, we're always still developing and going through some experimental styles and things, always trying out different things and having a good time. But, well, I mean, really the most important thing is having a good time every time, so definitely I look forward to that, and if you enjoyed this, that's really good. If you didn't enjoy it, well, thank you for sticking around, and if you would like to criticize, you're more than welcome to go ahead. I mean, I know, I just decided to put this up in replacement for an episode I normally do from the Morning New-Tine, and I said, sure, I'll go ahead and do that, so there's that. But anyways, with that, I will hopefully be in the studio on Tuesday morning, which I should, as long as I get up properly on time at 6 on that Tuesday. I believe that will be the 20-something of March. I meant February, not March, not April. I was already getting ahead of myself. I was thinking of the 1st of March. No, it's going to be the 27th of February, if I am correct. Yes, because Saturday is the 24th. Yeah, the 27th of February will be my next episode on the air. If you ever want to catch that, if you're a new listener and you want to go ahead and hear what the Morning New-Tine has to offer, 7 to 8 in the morning on Tuesdays, only on CFMU. A quick little plug for that there. More information can be found below as well, so don't worry about that. And now all that matter-of-factly stuff is gone, set aside in terms of my personal promotions. Shameless advertising, shameless plugging. And I think that just about wraps it up. Hopefully you did enjoy it. And generally, I will hopefully see you in some other kind of a video that I end up doing. And this is actually pretty fun. I might do a bit more of this and probably improve on style as well, because I kind of just seemed really dry. I was getting up in the morning. They're all morning vlogs in the sense of I just hadn't prepared whatsoever. They're all just sporadic. But anyways, hopefully you had a good time. See you next time, and yeah.